everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Tabletop Tavern, the Stone King Slumber. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jenny. I will be your dungeon master for this fabulous campaign. I want to give my players the opportunity to introduce themselves here. If we could start with the lovely Leon LaBelle, that would be marvelous.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria, and I'm going to be playing Leon LaBelle as per usual.
Hi, my name is Ryan, and I will be playing Lynn Waiter.
Hey guys! My bad, Ryan.
Shit, I'm out.
I'm Joe, I'm also playing Lynn, and I'm gonna be playing Chris Littlefoot. I just decided.
And I'm Pippin, and I'm playing Ariadne Untitled Chapter.
Hell yeah. Alright, so real quick, we're gonna go over the events of our last episode. Let me make sure I have you guys turned up enough here. I think you're significantly quieter than usual. Alright, so last episode was episode 4, Songs from the Sea of Trees. Last episode, our heroes found themselves in the Sea of Trees, seeking information about the dreamer at the end of the world that Ariadne seemed to think could be found within the forest. Before they could make much headway, however, Galen's health took a sudden and dramatic turn for the worse, and he revealed to the party that he had a reliance on the mysterious substance known as Sundrop, which he used to cope with his shadowy and tragic past. After he recovered his strength, the party continued through the woods and stumbled across painful remnants of Ari's past. When last we left off, Ariadne and company had just left a clearing where they had discovered the grave of Ariadne's long-lost love, Theodora, and they are now standing in a clearing. I believe Ari had last stated that they desperately needed a drink. Don't we all?
So, all in the clearing. Leon is gonna kind of look around, be like, listen, no, this is obviously a touchy situation, to say the least. But, Ari, why did you bring us here? What does this Theodora have to do
I
with...
didn't. This was unplanned.
Okay. Well, what do you think this Theodora has to do with where we're going? Do you know what's going on?
Absolutely nothing. We're not there yet.
I'm thinking maybe we should instead, find a tavern. Let's take a break.
Yes, Joe has the right idea.
And we can regroup from there, I think.
Does anybody know where one is?
That way. He just points off into a random direction.
I mean,
which
you're
way?
probably
Sorry.
not wrong eventually.
That way. And he points
But I
into a
think
different
maybe
direction.
following the path is our safest bet.
Oh, yes, fair point. Okay. Does anyone have a map? Does anyone know where we are?
So,
I do, but I have not been here in a very long time.
City girl.
Okay, so those of you who are familiar with the Sea of Trees would know that kind of along the outskirts where the trees start to thin, there tend to be a lot of human kind of logging settlements where most of the lumber industry is based. So you would know that if you walk in a specific direction, not necessarily the one Galen has pointed to, but also not necessarily the one that Galen has pointed to, you will eventually come across a town.
Okay.
All roads lead to lumber.
Okay. So Leon is like, okay, so if we're looking for a tavern, Ari, Gris, trees are your thing.
And trees mean logging.
You want to point us?
Which also means...
do you want to maybe point us in a direction? Give me a city and I can take us somewhere. But forest, Unless you want me to burn it down.
I'm starting to get the feeling like maybe you're a little bit uncomfortable being in the forest, Leon.
Just a tiny bit.
Can't. I just don't. It's not. I don't know them that well. I can burn it down if you'd like.
Please.
No, I think if we go in this direction, we'll run into a milling town and can hopefully find a small tavern. It will not be to your liking, probably, Leon, but it will have food and ale and something.
It's fine, I suppose.
Yes, I think we're a ways away from anything you're used to.
I can't say I like it, but I don't think we have much of a choice. So we should do that then. Then we should just someone else should
start
do it.
walking.
I think Ari and I will.
Away. Yeah.
It's like I'm over this.
Ari and I will kind of lead the charge.
Walking.
Yeah. And I'm sure Galen's probably a little bit ahead of us, thinking he knows which way he's going. Probably not, actually.
All right, so you sort of proceed in the direction of where the trees start to grow thinner, and you can start seeing kind of evidence of a lot of activity here. There's, stumps of trees that have been cut down, and even a handsaw sort of lying to the side. So you can tell that you're going in the right direction. The forest opens up and reveals to you a human settlement. It's small. It is largely about maybe 15 buildings clustered around a larger building. Not that much larger, though. It's about the same size as the small houses that surround it, but it is 2 stories high. There are a lot of human settlements of this kind along the border, which obviously house those who make their living harvesting lumber from the forest's seemingly endless supply, or hunt the many beasts that take shelter among its trees. So you enter into this town, there's not a lot of people out. It is, starting to become evening. A lot of the work in the logging industry is presumably done before the sun starts to set. And now it is sunset.
Hey. Is there anything that looks like an inn?
The building with 2 stories has a sign on the outside that's hand painted that says Inn and Tavern. It does not appear to have a name. It's sort of it's made of the same rough wood and has the same kind of ramshackle exterior as the houses that surround it. But at 2 stories tall, it definitely does seem to kind of tower over them. From what you can tell, the bottom floor holds the tavern portion, and the upper floor is sort of the location of presumably the inn's bedrooms.
All right. Are there any other signs? Any other?
There's a kind of rough road that leads through town.
Cool.
Okay.
Then the rest of the buildings.
There's no one just out on the streets?
There's a couple people sort of milling around, but they don't seem particularly interested in interacting with strangers. There's sort of a feeling of they don't get a lot of visitors around here. And it's very obvious by the way that they sort of shoot pointed glances in everyone's direction. When you feel their eyes on you, Ariadne, you sort of, pull your hood up around your ears a little bit more, and make it clear that your compatriots should do the same.
Yeah.
Gris kind of tugs on her satchel a little bit and kind of notices the inn across the way, and kind of points in that direction and says, hopefully there's food, maybe some sort of lodging. I'm sorry, Leon. Looks like this is all we're gonna get.
That is...
It's better than the first night, if you think of it.
Forest floor. Exactly, Ari. Bed
Or the
of
second
any
night,
kind
now that we're
is better than... Yeah, I would say arguably the nicest bed that I've been in the last week is...
Could very well be this one.
Also the one that I got kidnapped in. So it could be this one. Beggars can't be choosers, and I would rather sleep on this than a bedroll in the forest. So...
Well, I'm glad it has your approval.
Yeah.
I think we just start heading towards it.
Yeah. Leon chuckles, like zhuzhes her hair, which she always has her ears covered by her hair. Her hair is pretty much almost always down. But she kind of just like zhuzhes her hair to make sure that her ears are covered. And she walks with the group into the inn.
Do you all follow?
Yeah, I was already walking.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't.
Okay, all right, so we've got everybody. All right, so you enter the inn through the front door, which is made of kind of uncured wood. It's sort of peeling and splintery, but it is a door, which, you know, the forest does not have, as Leon so aptly pointed out. As you could kind of assume from the outside, the bottom floor of this building is occupied by a tavern. Only a few patrons sit at its sort of scattered tables, and the fireplace, located against the back wall, remains unlit despite the chill of the early springtime evening air. To your left is a bar, and behind that bar is presumably the innkeep. She's a human woman with graying auburn hair who doesn't really bother to smile at you when she comes in. She sort of looks up and looks at you expectantly.
Okay. Leon's gonna walk over and say, "Hello there. Do you have lodging for 4 this evening?"
She sort of looks you over. She's like very clearly trying to get a read on who you all are. As I said, this town, like many of these other towns, don't really get travelers, especially in such an interesting group. You know, Galen and Leon are sort of able to pass for human. Ari, less so, and presumably this woman has some encounters with halflings as they're found throughout the world. But you very clearly do not belong in this town. She sort of looks between you all and she goes, "We have 2 rooms."
Here we go again.
Certainly.
I think that's perfect.
Leon cuts Galen a glance like, "You asked for it last time." And she says, "Yes, that is wonderful. Do you also have some food that we could purchase?"
The woman sort of nods gruffly and points at the table closest to the sort of smoldering fireplace, as if to signify that she'll bring you food when it's ready.
Great.
Perfect, thank you.
And I just could call it. Probably she turns, just go like, "And a drink."
She sort of nods at you and turns her back to you as if she's done with this conversation.
I figured.
She's a real downer, huh?
Leon heads directly to the table that she pointed at, just trying not to antagonize this clearly already antagonized lady.
Gris kind of chuckles in Galen's direction and follows suit and does the same, slinging her satchel onto the table and settling in.
I just drop mine next to me at my feet and just like choose whichever seat is like closest to the wall and just like done.
So
Galen, do you follow them after
Yeah.
making a snide remark in the woman's general direction?
Yeah.
All right, so you all sit down, and as you take a seat, the woman sort of follows behind you and unceremoniously slams down 4 tankards of ale and
Lovely.
Thank you.
some burnt bread, and says, "Your room should be ready soon. I have to prepare them myself," and then walks off.
Leon is just like, "Thank you. Thank you."
Gris is like, "Ooh,
We
bread!"
appreciate it. Thank you.
and grabs one of the burnt loaves and like cracks it apart and starts tearing out the insides and kind of munching happily while drinking some of the ale after such
I
a
don't bother. Yeah, I'm just
emotional day.
Leon grabs a piece of the bread and starts picking at it and looks at Ari and Gris and Galen, and she says, "We need to talk about what just happened."
Do we though?
What? Do we?
Do.
Are you sure?
Maybe Ari
100%,
needs
Galen.
some
think
time
so.
to sleep on it.
Mm,
I don't know
yeah.
that it's really our business, but we do still have a prophecy that maybe we could go over and
That's fine. Okay.
or
I think we just
children's
need to talk
song
about what our
prophecies.
next steps are. We've had a bit of a day.
Yes.
I would say as much.
So
I think
obviously
we need to
we
talk
did
about our
not-
next steps.
We did not get to where you thought we were gonna be, maybe, Ariadne. We did not.
No, I was saying from before, there's a place that I remember that I never quite understood, but had a lot of the same words and vibes that prophecy does, so I figured might as well. But like dreams and slumbers and never wakes, and seemed right up your alley, and that's the only thing I think could be helpful.
But it wasn't in the
Well,
clearing.
did that pouch you found have anything to do with it?
No, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Gris kind of like leans over to Leon and like kind of under her breath says, "I think the pouch is personal."
Leon casts message to Gris,
Oh, no.
like, and says, "Okay, still want to know what it is, Gris."
And Gris just shoots Leon a glance like, "Not time. Now's not the time. Shut it down."
Galen kicks Leon's
Gris,
ankle.
know that Gris
like,
can send me a message back.
Gris probably doesn't need to send you a message based on the look she's probably sending you from across the table.
Leon
Am
sends
I-
Galen a message.
Do I notice this interaction?
Don't kick me again, Galen.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
So I think at this point, maybe Gris reaches into her bag and pulls out the torn piece of paper from their wonderful librarian friend, and kind of starts flattening it out and says, "There's just some things that still aren't adding up here. And the more I read this, and I've been reading it a lot as we've been walking, just as an FYI,
Right.
there's a couple things I'm just not getting. So
Like what?
in his bed, a hero sleeps. From his dreams, the world's end leaps. In my head, I kind of thought
Okay.
this might be about Reese.
Doesn't
But
Right.
sound like it.
But he is sleeping. He's in his bed. But I don't really know that Reese is necessarily a hero. Not to like, get too deep into the ins and outs of my husband, but I don't think he's a hero.
Right.
What about
okay.
the other person you said was a dream
Yeah.
thing?
That the person that we were looking for, that legend you said he was.
I
He's
really,
a legend. He must probably be a
Well-
hero, no?
he's a legend in the
I would
sense that
think.
he was exiled, like he was cast
Right.
out
So
of
he's
our
after
village.
legend.
So I don't know if he. I mean, you know, sometimes there weren't a lot of positives said about this individual. It was just that he
Right.
kind of walked a path that the rest of the Dreamwalkers preferred not to cross, and crossed some boundaries that were preferred to not be crossed. So I
You
don't
think that he's going to have more information about your husband? That's what you think. That's why we're going to Ariadne's.
Well, that's why I was
Town.
interested in him, because that's why I left my
Right.
hometown, was to find him.
Right.
Um,
And Ariadne's town knows about him.
Well, I don't know if he does.
Potentially.
I mean, I didn't even know, I don't think, about this person, but then I didn't really pay attention.
but you know about the song,
I know about the song,
That's
but
it.
story.
not as anything serious as the really rude wood elf that treated Galen explained. But the place I'm taking you, it had, you know, just a bunch of like rocks and etchings with all the stuff that you seem to be interested in.
Okay.
So I figured if there's a place that might be helpful, it
And
would
for-
be that. But I don't know that it's related to the person. Do you know what I mean?
I know
That's
what you
where
mean.
you want to take us tomorrow.
Yes.
Fiona's just trying to get organized. She's
Yeah.
like, we need an itinerary, folks.
Gris is like frantically flipping through her notebook, and she kind of stumbles upon something. The stones. You mentioned stones, and Alex
Yes.
back in the village also mentioned a bed of stone, and this song mentions a crown of stone.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know if there's, because it says
Yeah,
Hell grants
well,
a traitor
it was, I
his
mean,
gilded throne.
I guess it was kind of bed-like. It's flat. Do you think
Flat.
that makes it bed-like?
I mean, beds are flat. Galen?
Beds are flat.
Beds are flat?
Leon chuckles at Ari saying that, just like, what? Ari, yes. That would make sense, I would think.
And Gris,
Well-
Gris is still looking. But wait, a traitor. Maybe that's the exiled Dreamwalker. Hell grants a traitor his gilded throne.
Well, there was like supplies. There was like a bedroll or something. It was all dusty though, so I figured someone just left it there when they came across it, like I did.
Wait, it's an actual place with an actual bedroll? So an actual bed? And Gris is
No,
just like,
I mean, I'll sleep anywhere, but I didn't look very comfortable.
I mean, I think it's a better lead than anything.
Well, that's why I'm taking you there.
And I trust it. I know. I'm just along for the ride at this point. Give me a forest, my first choice is to burn it down. Not actually. That's just me being dramatic.
but that's where we're going, so we can check it out, right?
Is that just revenge for us not untying you?
No, there's no need for revenge for that, except for me reminding you consistently for
I
the
am-
next,
That sounds a little bit like
Ever.
revenge.
For the record, I did untie you.
Chris, you're exempt.
For the record, it wasn't my job.
Okay, so I'm just gonna... Galen, how do you feel about this? Do we just go where Ari said? I think we should just, like, find whatever this place is that Ari was talking about with the stone bed. Hopefully there will be something that can give us some sort of insight into what Gris is looking for, and then we can figure out our next steps towards figuring out where this dead man walking is.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
I mean,
Well, plan as any.
sounds like Ariadne knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to
say
listen
so.
to the people that know what they're talking about.
Agreed,
I
Galen.
think you're
I think that
severely
might be the first time
overestimating
that's
my
happened.
memories, Galen. I have not been to this place in many, many years. It may not be there.
I
But
mean,
you've still been to the
You've been
place.
there. And none of us have.
Well, yes, I'm just saying that I don't remember. I was there at a
Listen.
time. I don't remember much about the time where I visited this place.
at this point, a smidgen of something is better than nothing. So let's go.
As you debate your itinerary, the human woman innkeep returns and looks at Ari's empty tankard of ale and slams another one in front of them and sort of stands there, sort of awkwardly, not clearly accustomed to customer service, and goes, "Can I get you anything else?"
No, this is lovely. Thank you.
Do you have
This is
any
wonderful.
mushrooms?
And Gris just kind of elbows Galen. I don't need mushrooms tonight.
Never mind.
The woman
All
frowns
our
at
rooms
you.
be ready.
Oh.
She clears her throat a little bit and goes, "Well, it's just me, so if you don't need any more food, I can go prepare your room now."
I think we're fine.
Yeah,
Adam.
yeah.
The bread was very crunchy. Thank you.
The woman is clearly offended by this, but clears her throat aggressively and proceeds up a flight of stairs, sort of in the direction of the door that you came through.
I really like crunchy bread, though.
Chris, I don't know if crunchy was the adjective you should have used. there.
Crispy?
Yeah.
It might not have been the best choice.
Should I?
I think she should appreciate a compliment if they can get one.
I said it in a nice way.
How are you feeling?
I want to go to bed.
Wait, don't we have an intervention that we kind of pushed off for later? Maybe now is later.
Good.
I think we can go to bed. I just
think
look at Galen.
That's a great idea, Ariadne.
The rooms aren't ready. She's working on the rooms. We gotta do something.
How are you feeling?
I feel fine. Did you not see me jump out of the water earlier? Everything.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean you
Great.
still feel that way.
it was magical.
It was
Galen
dramatic.
He kind of just like deadpans Leo and is just like, I'm fine.
So I have some questions about the water thing, though.
Yeah.
So I have heard of Tritons, and
Mhm.
you talked to us about Tritons, but
Mhm.
what else can you do?
I can talk to beasts that breathe water.
Fish.
We knew that much.
We did?
Oh, we didn't.
Yes. No, we didn't.
It's
Never
fine,
mind.
Gris. It's fine. It's done.
It's
fine.
done. It's fine. Is this the fish thing again?
No.
Yeah, but
no.
again, it's over. It's done. Don't worry. It's fine. It's really good.
It's okay.
Yep.
I have a natural resistance to the cold, so I don't really feel anything in the
I envy
cold.
you that.
I can kind of use magic when it comes to the air and water.
But does the water heal you?
It has some benefits, one might say.
How incredibly vague of you,
Chris like
Galen.
scribbles down into to Reese's notebook. Benefits. And you're
What I want to know is, will the effects that the water had on you earlier during your display have long-lasting effects, or do we need to be cognizant of things going forward?
We're
Joan is trying not to aggravate Galen.
Galen kind of just rolls his eyes and says, "Yeah, it's once I'm out of the water, I'm out of the water. I don't know what to tell you. I'm half of a Triton, so."
Okay.
But what about Alex mentioned something about withdrawal from Sundrop? Is that
That's a very good question, Gris.
something we should worry about?
Probably.
I mean, I can't tell you anything about that until it happens, I guess, because I've never really had withdrawals before.
Because you've always
Will you be honest with us when you're feeling poorly, please?
I mean,
This is
I
what
don't
we
really
want to
have
know.
a choice.
Are you going to try and be machismo and hide it? Oh, I'm fine, and then you're not really fine. Will you tell us so that we can help you?
I mean, I'd rather not burn alive from the inside out again. So yeah, I would.
I feel like that's probably a good motivator.
I would agree, Ari. I would agree.
The woman from before stands behind you, sort of, once again, awkwardly. Your rooms are ready.
Great. Galen kind of just pushes her
Thank
aside and walks up the stairs.
Joan follows.
Yeah, I
Thank you
just
so much,
down the
madam. Thank you.
Gris
I
kind of
Go ahead.
shoves her stuff in her satchel and kind of walks up to the woman and says, "I meant I liked the bread, by the way. Thank you." And then follows up the stairs.
I just down the rest of my tankard in one go and just pick up my satchel and just walk past. Don't even say anything.
The woman follows you up the stairs, though it is clear she intended to lead you to your rooms. And you sort of enter a landing. There are only 2 doors here, so it seems as if the inn itself consists of exactly 2 rooms. And she pushes the first one on your left open unceremoniously. She sort of gestures to it and she says, "This." And then she opens the other door and points to it. And you notice that both rooms are fairly identical. She sort of looks you up and down and she goes, "For an extra 3 coppers, I can wash your clothes."
Leon hands her a gold piece.
Leon, I have the 3 coppers. Just put it away.
Ari.
Gris kind of like shuffles through her
She
back
just
and
hands her a gold piece. Hoping, no, just take it. Don't listen to them, just take it.
The woman eyes the gold piece, and her eyes are gigantic. This is more money than she's probably seen potentially ever. She pockets it and she goes, well, is it just what you're wearing, or do you have anything else? And her demeanor has gone from I do not want you here to I might want to kiss you right now.
I think
we should clean our finery as well, everyone.
Yeah.
I think
Are you
we should
sure
clean our
that's a
finery
good
as well.
idea? Are you sure that's a good idea? There might be some stuff on it that maybe I don't know is suspicious.
I
Red dress.
turn to the woman and I first go, wait, what was your name?
Sarah?
Sorry. Do you get a lot of adventurers?
The woman sort of looks around and she goes, my dear, this is... You're the first guest we've had in months.
Months?
Would you say you're squeamish?
The woman sort of... realization dawns on her face and she laughs a little bit and she goes, my dear, for a gold piece. And she sort of makes a face that implies that she knows exactly what you're talking about.
So I turn back to Gris and just go, I think she's fine with it.
Gris shrugs and starts pulling all of the finery out of her satchel.
Yeah.
And kind of like holds it unceremoniously. We can give you this now and then the rest in a moment.
The woman sort of holds the clothes awkwardly and stands there as if she's waiting for the rest of your clothing.
And then
You have robes?
Robes. Just take them off. And Gris starts like kind of like uncomfortably taking off part of her tunic. Like, here you go.
A night dress?
A night dress.
The
You
woman
have pajamas.
looks at Leon for a few moments and says, you might be about my size, but and she says, I can bring you something after I bring all of this downstairs.
Perfect. Great.
Sure.
Wonderful.
As much as I can give her is just undo my foot wraps.
All right, so
if you have
all of the
another,
finery.
I'll also take one.
the woman sort of looks at you and nods a little bit, and then she sort of points at the rooms and she was like, would you like to wait in there while I bring you something? I would like to make as few trips as possible.
Yes. Sure.
Alright, so do Leon and Ari, do you each walk into a room and shut the door so that you can preserve your modesty?
Sure. Can I just given our last couple of nights, can I just go like this really quick and do a perception check?
Yeah, go for it.
For no particular reason except precaution. 15 plus 4, 19.
Alright, so as far as you can tell, these rooms are pretty much exactly identical to each other. They're directly across the hall. Standing in one doorway, you can see through to the other room. They've got peeling wood floors and walls, which is, it's sort of low quality, but the hay-stuffed mattresses on top of the two beds on each side of the room seem reasonably clean. There's no chest for you to store your things, but there are rusty hooks, rusty nails really nailed over each bed, presumably to serve as a hook for you to hang your items from. There doesn't seem to be anything suspicious about this inn at all. The woman seems fairly honest. She doesn't seem particularly jazzed but that you're there, but she seems to like money okay.
Fair enough.
Fiona's like in the room, looking at the hay, looking around, and is like, "The rest would have been better." honestly, at this point.
I'm just in the other room and realizing that those probably stayed out there. I think she's the only one. I peek my head back out and just go, You don't have to stay out there, Gris. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. And Gris kind of like shuffles in after Ariadne and like plops herself down on the bed, pretty much just kind of in her skivvies. She's already completely undressed in the hallway and starts ruffling through her bag.
And then I just go to a corner and start undressing, but I'm like, I'm okay. I'm more okay with it than like we'll let on.
So I'm fairly sure that means that Galen is just standing in the hallway, waiting for Leon to be decent.
Yep. I kind of just like post up like against the door, like with my arms crossed.
The woman sort of looks at you and is like, "Would you like me to clean your clothes, sir?"
It's fine.
She sort of looks at you and goes, "Okay." And knocks.
Leon hear that through the door?
It's a crappy door. Do you want to roll a perception check?
Yeah. We do that.
Crappy.
We do that real quick. That's an 11 plus 2, 13.
All right, you heard that. You heard that whole interaction.
Leon yells through the door, Galen, get your clothing cleaned.
I'm fine,
I'm
Leon.
gonna implore that you wear the other finery, and I know you don't want to do that.
I kind of just like look at Sarah and do like one of these, and I flick her a gold piece. I'm bribing Sarah to keep quiet.
She pockets the gold piece and then knocks on Leon's door.
Hello. Yes.
Dear, may I have your clothes, please?
Absolutely. Do I have the like whatever she's giving me yet?
She's going to pass it through to you. I think she probably just wants you to hand her the stuff.
Do one trip, yeah.
So Leon passes over her clothes.
All right. The woman Sarah sort of carts the stuff away down the stairs, sort of hastily, and returns a few moments later with 2 night dresses. They're sort of large, oversized things. They seem clean, though they are stained. There's no bleach in fantasy world. So she passes them through the doors to both Ari and Leon. Galen, she gives you a subtle nod, like, thanks for the gold piece. And she heads down the stairs.
Leon puts on the nightgown and opens the door to let Galen come in.
Galen walks in, like, covering his eyes.
Leon looks at Galen and goes, did she magically wash your clothes, or what happened here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's a sorceress.
Right, okay. I want you to understand. I don't believe you. Do you want to walk around in dirty clothing? Like, someone's offering to clean our clothing. Why do you want to walk around with dirty clothing?
Do you not realize how I made my living? I'm dirty always. It's more than okay with
That doesn't
me.
mean you have to be dirty, Galen. You can
I'm used
choose to
to
be
it.
clean.
I choose to.
Okay, but why would you choose it, Galen?
It's comfortable.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this go. Pick your battles, Leon. Pick your battles. She's talking to herself. Are there 2 beds?
There are 2 beds, yes.
Leon gets in the bed furthest from the door.
I figured you would.
Thank you, Galen.
All right, so
Alright.
Yeah.
so you 2 are arguing about clothing. And so in the other room, Ari, you have been also handed one of these night dresses.
Awesome. I put it on. I am a little uncomfortable, just like I just standing around like that for a second. And then I just turned to Gris and I'm like, have you chosen your bed?
Gris already sitting on one of the beds and kind of kicking her little feet off the edge, just like, I don't really care, whichever's fine.
Okay. I just pick up like my bag or something and just lay it like at the foot of the bed. Is there anything else in the room or just the beds? I've already forgotten.
The beds and the hooks and the...
There's beds and hooks. And that's it.
Great.
These are bare bones rooms.
Awesome. Yeah, then I just sit on the bed.
Gris kind of looks over at Ariadne.
Uncomfortable.
And just kind of smiles at them in their nightgown and says, it looks comfy. A little, a little big on you, but it looks comfy.
Yeah, it's a little big.
That's okay. So I have a couple of things. I don't know if you know this, but when we were with Alex and the elderly woman who has no name and also no eyes, no sight. She gave me a couple of vials of that Sundrop stuff, so I have some of that, and it's in my bag, and I just don't know if Galen knows, and I'm thinking maybe Galen shouldn't know, but I also don't really know what I should do with it. But it's there, it's in my bag. Just wanted to let someone know. Yeah.
Okay.
He said there might be withdrawals and that he may need it, and showed me some files.
I guess she gave it to you. I mean, you're the ex. I mean, you probably know if we should. He might need it.
Yeah. I guess I'll just keep it there. But maybe keep an eye on my bag for me. Since we do know
that I can do.
A tendency to put
and I just
where they don't
go
go
over and just stare at her bag, just like that I can do.
And Gris kind of just nods knowingly, and then kind of gets quiet for a sec, and then looks back over at Ariadne,
still staring at your bag.
And it's like, so Theo.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about her?
There's not much to say.
Well, I'm sure you just didn't expect to find what you found today.
I haven't been back in a long time. I forgot that was where that was and how close we were.
So you knew about Theo and what had happened?
Yeah.
And Gris just kind of nods knowingly.
It's fine. Really. Just like trying to find a way to make Gris less uncomfortable.
Again, like, Gris is not uncomfortable. It takes a lot to make Gris uncomfortable.
But I'm still just like,
Gris is just like kind of watching her friend and trying to figure out if there's anything else to say, and isn't totally sure. So kind of moves on to a different topic. So Galen, huh? With a dad and
yeah,
not a dad, and a mom,
yeah,
and fish, water. I've never seen a Triton before.
Well, now you have.
Now I have.
Meanwhile, in the other room, as the intelligence stat throwaway group trades gossip. Leon, have you just gone to bed?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, so Leon's out. Galen,
Leon's exhausted.
Are you?
She's like
also
sleeping
asleep?
on her like she's trying to sleep on her like purse for like some sort of comfort, something, anything other than hay, please.
Galen, are you also asleep?
Well, beforehand, Galen sort of like takes off his jacket and folds it up, and he doesn't want to take it, but he wants to like put it somewhere else because it's very obvious that this innkeeper is heavily influenced by money. So he wants to sort of like take his jacket and swap it with Leon's purse and put her purse under the bed.
Okay. I'm so sorry. That was adorable. Leon, how asleep are you?
Was she fucking tired? She didn't get a good night's sleep the night before.
She fucking
Not-
tired. She fucking did.
Let's get a sleight of
my
hand
fucking
check.
god, she fucking did.
Sleight of hand.
Yes.
16 plus 4.
All right, you make the swap easily, and you sort of kick the purse underneath the bed to like the shadowest part, where it can't be seen by anyone walking through the door. All right, do you go to sleep?
Yeah.
All right, you are both
Awesome.
asleep. Back to the
In
other
our room. I think it might be time for bed.
Chris kind of nods knowingly. Yeah, lots
Um,
happened today. I had a lot of thoughts, but I think maybe bed is best.
I agree. We kind of left. I finished my drink really quickly. Yeah.
Chris's eyes go wide and kind of looks over as her friend like slowly lays down.
Yeah. But I slowly lay down. I turn like away from her and I close my eyes and pretend to sleep. For a
Chris
second,
thinking
for a little while.
Ari is for real sleeping. Gets kind of cozy, comfy, and squishes on in and maybe cuddles her satchel a little bit. And tries to fall asleep.
Awesome. As soon as I have determined that Gris has properly fallen asleep, I sit up and I swing over, put my feet on the floor, and as quietly as possible, like not even like than a mouse, I just reach over like to my bag and I pull out the velvet cross bag and I just tuck it under my hate pillow, and then I go back. And I give a quick look at Gris to make sure she hasn't woken up, and then I go back to and go into trance.
So I'm pretty asleep. I can't roll.
Yeah, no,
That's
you
fair.
are
That's
dreaming.
fair. Think about my hubby.
All right. In the other room, Galen, as you lay down to fall asleep, you notice
Here we go.
that Leon is a very fitful sleeper. The night passes without much event, and the sun rises the next morning, and you can hear some kind of animal. You hope to God it's a rooster, but it also might be a sick child or something crowing. And the sun is cresting through the window. The windows, they're not really windows so much as holes cut in the side of the house to let in air and light.
Leon wakes up and she sits up. She looks at the coat, then panics. She looks at Galen, is like, Galen,
It's under your bed.
here is my purse. Okay.
It's under your bed.
Good Lord, Galen, you can't just do that without telling me.
You were asleep.
Oh my god. She leans under her bed. Can she see it?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it, but it's definitely obscured by the shadow of the bed itself.
Okay. Leon grabs it and is like, God, jeez. Oh my god, Galen. Wow, you just really, wow, thank you, I think. Why?
Say it again.
I'm just overall confused.
Galen like kicks up his feet and is like, say it again. Come on.
Hey, what again, Galen?
Say thank you, Galen.
Thank you, Galen. Why?
Listen. Me, of all people, know how powerful money is. Did you see that woman's eyes when you flicked her that gold piece?
I did, actually. It was a lot.
It was a
Like,
lot.
most people don't react that much, you know?
Right.
It was a lot.
So, I didn't want anybody walking in here and stealing your pillow.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Although I don't think your coat helped me sleep last night. God. Uncomfortable.
Galen sort of just like rolls his eyes and gets up.
So does Leon.
All right. Forest children,
Yes.
how goes it in your room?
I feel like Gris has been up since the sun, since the moment the sun has peaked up. That is just Gris energy right there.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like waiting and wondering like when she's gonna get her clothes back, maybe staring at Ariadne. But Ariadne doesn't really sleep, so maybe they're just staring at each other.
Yeah, well, I'm turned away, but yes, I am in trance, knowing you're awake but not wanting to really get up. So I'm just like,
There are knocks on each of the doors, kind of in succession. And, yeah, there's a knock at the doors.
I'll get it!
awesome.
And Gris kind of gets up quickly and runs the door and swings it wide open and says, "Hi, good morning."
Leon also heads towards the door.
Galen cuts her off and has
Opens
his
it.
hand on his dagger.
Okay. Leon's just like, oh,
I've just gone like this
it's
and said,
early.
Chris, you have too much
Ooh.
energy.
Hi, good morning, Ariadne.
Sarah stands in the hallway with all of your clothes. They appear to be more or less dried. They're a little damp. They probably only dried overnight. But they are folded, and she presents them to you without much comment and says, "You can pay when you leave," and goes back down the stairs.
Gris takes her kind of stack of clothes
Take
and
her
Ariadne's stack of clothes.
Don't you think Leon's paid her like? This is all just from me being like this. But Leon paid her like so much.
Leon's like doing grabby
So
hands to
bad.
Galen, like, okay, I need clothing, please.
Galen picks up the clothes and like sort of just like tosses it over his head because he doesn't want to look at Leon because he's embarrassed.
I have to do an athletics check to
I
catch
just pulled
it.
out a hand. I
Yes,
just pulled.
absolutely. Now that you
I'm
mention it,
waiting
give
for
me an athletics check.
Oh my goodness.
Acrobatics or athletics?
That's gonna be athletics.
Shit. I have a
You got a
negative one on
negative? Yeah,
athletics.
you do. Does she catch her clothes? We
It's a
don't know.
7 minus 1, 6.
So Galen tosses the clothes to you, and actually an impressive throw on his behalf. And you go to catch it, but instead they fall on the floor, and being kind of damp, they get a little bit dusty. Some of the splinters catch in them, and yeah. So you now have a pile of damp clothes at your feet.
No.
Leon looks at Galen. Is like, you could have handed them to me, Galen. I'm a sorceress, not an acrobatics teacher.
With his back towards Leon, he just like holds up his hands and is like, "Cast some magic then."
Leon picks up her clothing and like closes the door gently to get changed.
So Gris, carrying her clothing and Ariadne's clothing, turns back to the room and probably
And I'm just like this.
shuts the door behind her and gives Ariadne their clothes and then starts putting on her own.
Yeah.
Not the finery, of course. Gris is definitely putting on her previous clothes.
Yeah. Same. I just sit up and from the sitting position get dressed. Do not get up.
I think Gris also pays special attention to the foot wraps, which she still really loves that Raphael made for her, and is putting the other clothes into her bag and turns to Ariadne and said, "Would you like me to put your clothing in the satchel? The clothing that you're not wearing?"
No, I have space. Thank you, though.
And Gris kind of just nods and starts packing up her things.
All right, so the party gets changed, puts on their clothes without much fanfare. Galen wears the exact same thing he wore yesterday. In his defense, he did go for a swim in at least his pants, so those are probably fairly clean.
Okay.
You head down the stairs, which creak underneath your feet, and Sarah sort of more or less checks you out without much to do. She asks for 3 coppers for the rooms, but makes it clear that you've already paid for the laundry.
Yeah, Leon just hands her one more gold piece.
She gives a bow to Leon
Roll my eyes at Leon.
and says, "My lady, I cannot make change for a gold piece."
It's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. Although, how well do you know the area?
She looks taken aback. Well, I grew up here. I got married here, and I buried my husband here. So I would say that I know the area fairly well.
Looking for a place that my compatriot has seen. Looks like it has a stone bed. Do you know where to point us? Do you know where that is? Have you seen it?
At
Do
this
you know if it's
moment,
still kicking around?
Sarah focuses her eyes on Ari, and her expression grows a little sour, and she goes, "Your companion looks like they would know more about the forest than I would."
Oh,
Well, it's not me who
what
asked
I
you, is
paid you means you might want to be a little nicer.
it?
She sort of
Okay, well, thank you for your help.
nods her head and turns her back to you.
Okay, let's go. We should go. Leon starts like shuffling everyone out the door.
Gris kind of follows the shuffling and takes a couple steps out the door and into, I guess, the street, the Warren Street that runs through the town.
All right, Ari,
All right,
lead the way.
onwards then.
All right. Ari leads you back into the forest. The trees quickly grow thick and close together again, and at some point they sort of steer you off of the path itself. They take you through thickening groves of trees to the point where you sort of have to turn sideways to squeeze between them. But they seem to know exactly where they are going. Suddenly, the trees open up to a nearly perfectly circular clearing. The branches of the trees overhead are woven so thick that although it is at latest early afternoon, it is as dark as the night in this clearing. Fireflies, or maybe fairies, you can't really tell from the distance that you're at, flit in between the spring foliage. And beneath your feet, there is no grass, but rather perfectly smooth velvet green moss, uninterrupted by any plants, with the exception of red-capped mushrooms, which grow around the edges of this clearing, perfectly spaced out from each other.
Yo.
So I presume I'm leading them, so I'm going first. So I enter and I go, "Yeah, this seems about right."
And Gris is obviously checking out these mushrooms, but is kind of starting to notice that maybe they're a little too evenly spaced. And maybe this could be potentially a fairy circle? Is that something that I could roll to perceive?
That's something you would know, and it is a fairy circle.
Yeah.
Can I roll a perception check?
You can absolutely roll a perception check. Does everyone roll a
Yeah.
perception check? Let's get a...
Mine is 9 plus 2, 11.
Ooh, I have 2 plus 4, 6. I told you I didn't remember much about my time here.
What was
8.
it? Perception?
Yes.
14.
All right, so we are going to start with dear sweet Ari. Ariadne, you don't remember much about this place, but you do recognize it as the place you remember. In the center of the clearing, you can make out the shape of the stone bed that you'd noticed before. Gris, you see about the same thing, but you are very focused on these mushrooms, which to you strike you as something you should not mess with. Although you adore mushrooms and you do grow closer to them to kind of peer at them, you notice that they have a very strong magical aura. Leon, you are intensely aware that this place is imbued with some kind of magic with which you are entirely unfamiliar. It's definitely some sort of natural magic, but you can't quite be sure. Your eyes, however, fall on this stone bed in the center. You can see that there's something written on it in Sylvan, but you can't quite make it out from the distance that you're at. Galen, you can see this stone bed, and you notice that It's maybe about 2 feet in height. Its edges, from what you can tell, are far too smooth to be natural. And along them appear to be carved words, though you are not familiar with the language that they are written in. It looks to be about 6 feet long enough for a person to lie down on.
Can I go lay down on it?
Oh my god. Leon wants to try and stop him. Leon's like, don't.
All right.
Galen, no, absolutely not. Under no circumstances, no.
Galen moves towards the bed. Leon throws out an arm to sort of stop him.
Let's slow down, shall we, Galen? Maybe after.
I just go, you remember we're here because the person that didn't wake up, like, you remember that's why we're here, right?
I mean, yeah.
Can't.
I don't know.
Oh, dear. Leon calls for Gris and is like, Gris, there's writing on this. Can you tell me what this says?
So Gris kind of stands up from her place next to one of the mushrooms where she was previously kneeling and kind of walks over towards the stone bed. And as she's walking, says, there's a lot of magic here. I think this is a fairy circle. Don't touch the mushrooms, guys. Please leave them alone. I know.
Oh, God. Okay. Wow.
I mean, I know normally I would pick them, but I'm getting a really not great feeling about picking them. So, yeah.
If Gris isn't picking the mushrooms, I certainly won't be.
So Gris kind of walks over to the stone bed and kind of takes a look and maybe reaches out a hand to touch the words that she sees written.
So these carvings are in Sylvan. The majority have become unreadable as time and weather have taken their toll since they were first carved. There's a few acontextual words, dream and sleep, but there is a series of rhyming couplets that are shockingly well preserved that say, whatever preceded them have faded away with time, but what you can make out says, what makes a king instead? What symbol rests upon his head? Rest upon this bed with care, for under rests a stone king deep in slumber. Do you read this out loud to your friends?
Yes, and can you read it one more time as I read it aloud?
What makes a king instead? What symbol rests upon his head? Rest upon this bed with care, for under lies a stone king deep in slumber.
Leon immediately says, aren't you glad you didn't lie on it, Galen?
I mean, it looks like a solid piece of stone to me. I don't...
So, if I hear this correctly, there's someone in there?
I don't know, but it's interesting because there's a lot of parts to this that sound a lot like our song.
That's true.
Just to sow chaos, Galen tries to push the smooth slab over.
Oh my god, Galen! Leon's like, Galen, what are you doing?
It won't budge. However, when you touch it, it is warm, as if it has been bathing in the sunlight.
Lord. You stop touching it, Galen, please.
It feels pretty warm.
Were there trees overhead, Jenny, or like just foliage? Like is sun gonna peer through whatever?
There is no sun overhead. Like I said, the branches overhead are woven so thickly together, it is as dark as night here.
Shouldn't be warm, Galen. Shouldn't be warm.
I'm thinking this is kind of strange. So Gris once again pulls out that piece of paper from the book and kind of looks at it and then looks back to the stone bed. So, what symbol rests upon his head? Well, here it says, place on his head a crown of stone. So this is stone. And then lies a stone king deep in slumber. And then the Song of the Dreamer at the end of the world references sleep a lot. And once again, Gris has slowly found herself sitting down on kind of the moss. Pieces of paper spread out around her. Reese's notebook kind of in her lap as she flips through it and is just trying to kind of figure something out. While
do you think this is our dreamer at the end of the world?
I don't.
Do you think they're the same person, Gris?
That dreamer a king?
Are you guys reading this like I'm reading this? Is there somebody here? Was there somebody here? Why is it
There's
warm?
someone on. Yes, it sounds like there's someone in
In there, it sounds like
what it
it's
sounds
a
like to
tomb. Is what it sounds like.
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting.
We should crack it open.
Galen.
This
No.
This has been well. It's
Tasty.
just this has been untouched for a very, very long time. I have a feeling it might have been intentional.
So there's something else. Just since we've been tossing around gold coins the past few days. Only when golden blood is spilled is the dreamer's destiny fulfilled. She kind of looks over at Leon like questioningly, like, "Yo, you got that golden blood?"
What would you like me to do, Briss? What would you
Leon,
like me
come
to
here.
do?
And Galen
Why
reaches
would
out for Leon's hand.
No,
For
don't
what?
do anything
For what?
right
For
now.
what?
We're just piecing
What,
it
Galen?
together. We're not gonna do anything. I don't think
why
we should-
would Leon know
Spill
about
blood.
golden blood?
we don't know anything.
Noble.
But
Oh, but last I checked, she bled
I mean,
red.
what are you
doesn't
thinking,
she?
Galen?
well,
Yes, but what are you thinking, Galen?
Well, I mean, this isn't the second time that golden blood has exactly been involved in magical things.
what do you mean it's not the second time? Wait a second.
Where did you see golden blood before?
Gabriel said it when he was tying up Leon, did he not?
Oh, golden blood
he
from
did.
golden causes.
Oh my god.
So you have
Okay.
to bleed on it?
Well,
Do you still have the dagger?
Yes.
Do we know what
I do have the dagger.
You do. Why'd you keep it?
For reasons. They tried to kill me with it. I think I deserve it.
Fair enough.
I don't know that.
So
we
I want to
really
know
need
why they
that
tried to
now.
kill me, you know?
Uh,
So
Galen
what do you
says
want
under
to do,
his
Galen?
breath for being
You want me to
honest.
bleed on the tomb? Do you want me to
Don't
bleed
bleed.
on the
Do
tomb?
not
I'll bleed on the
bleed.
tomb.
do not bleed on the tomb. This is magic.
You could
is
just
here.
like
Don't
swipe my
bleed on the
finger
tomb.
and then I could boom.
I-
What is our other options?
Do we see anything else here? Is there anything else like around this area? Anything else we can see? Should we do some exploration?
So, Gris, I would suggest that maybe you reread what you just read off of the stone.
Okay. Can I get the third line again? Because I wrote the other ones, but not the third one, I'm gonna be honest.
Rest upon this bed with care, for under lies a stone king deep in slumber.
I guess you can lie down on it then, Galen, if you're so keen.
So what makes a king instead? What symbol rests upon his
You
head?
already did it.
Rest upon this bed with care, for under lies a stone king deep in slumber. All right, Galen. Do your
What?
thing. Get on the fucking.
You did offer.
No. What are we doing?
I says
I
you
lie
have to
down
rest upon the
on top of
bed.
the tomb.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Galen wants to do that.
Galen, what do you do?
I lie down on top of the coffin. Tomb.
So this is
thing.
just a large rectangular rock. There's been no confirmation or denial that it is in fact a tomb. You lie down. It's about 4 feet wide, 6 feet long, so you just barely fit on it. And as you do so, the stone bed begins to sink into the ground.
Get off! Get
Galen,
off!
Galen,
Get off!
right now.
uh,
Leon's like
sensing
grabbing.
the sensing the thrill of adventure and finding out a secret, Galen remains in place.
All right, so Galen
Leon
begins
grab
to
him?
disappear beneath the ground. And the party is faced with a decision. Do they jump onto the stone bed and follow Galen, or do they
Yep.
allow him to disappear
Yeah.
beneath the ground?
We're not separating the party. Leon jumps on and is like, I hate you.
I know.
I think Gris is like staring from the edge of the stone, like holding her like notebook and her satchel, like, I don't like this. I'm not really sure about this. And then just kind of like takes a step and jumps down.
Yeah, just be like, can we jump together? Just go like, oh, fine.
All right, so you're all sort of balanced precariously on this bed. Galen is still lying down, so I would have to assume that you're all just sort of awkwardly clinging to him. As the bed lowers into the ground, you find yourself in a stone hallway seated on this bed. The hole above you that was once occupied by the bed itself seems to close as if by magic. The air of the hallway is permeated by dust, with which any movement kicks up in abundance.
Leona's like, so we're trapped?
That's what Ari does.
Do we see a torch anywhere, anyone?
You might want to
Perception. Can we roll perception?
Can we all roll perception?
Yeah. Well, how dark is it?
You can all see.
I'm gonna roll perception.
Like, we can't see very far.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
so
I have dark vision.
you all have dark vision.
Yeah.
Right.
Character sheets.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh.
That's on knowing my character sheet. Can I roll a perception check anyways?
Yeah, you guys are all gonna probably want to read.
Yeah.
Roll one.
Rolling.
Mine's 6 + 2, 8.
16.
Which seems
15.
about right.
1 + 4, 5, but it was a nat 1.
So, Ari, you are too busy choking on dust and sneezing, and you are used to a lot more open spaces. You're just too busy being overtly uncomfortable to really notice much at all. Leon, your attention is sort of drawn to the fact that this hallway doesn't seem to go anywhere. It leads about 20 feet in either direction before coming to an end at stone walls. Gris and Galen, you, however, notice that to your right and left on each side are 3 heavy wooden doors that have battered brass knobs on them.
So, where are we gonna go,
do you see-
everyone?
Did you see anything?
Sorry, I'm writing.
We've got some doors.
Do any of them lead out of here?
I guess we have to open them to find out, Ariadne. And Gris kind of walks over to the first one on the left.
All right.
And kind of
Galen
places her hand
follows.
on the knob to see if anything will give or budge.
I would just like to note my apprehension at the doors.
Apprehension noted.
So, Gris, you
Why
try
do
to
the
open
hallways
the
lead
door.
nowhere?
Yeah, just try to just lightly push on it to see if it'll give or if it'll open at all.
It feels stuck as if there is something heavy leaning against it.
Okay.
Mm.
Guys, this door doesn't seem to move. It seems like it might be
Is it,
barricaded.
like,
Something-
locked?
It seems like there's something pushing back. I don't know that it seems locked. It just seems like it won't move.
Would
Could it
you
be
like me to
magic?
try and open it?
Can Mage Hand try to open doors?
I mean, you can try.
Well, I was just gonna.
Leon,
gonna push real hard.
Oh no, you know what? Not yet. Mm-mm. Do we want to do that, or do we want to try the other doors, friends?
Let's try the next ones.
Yeah.
So we've tried the first one on.
Okay, so Leon casts. Yeah, Leon wants to cast Mage Hand and says, "Why don't we try to have the fake hand try to open the door instead of a real hand that could be removed? The fake hand can't be removed, right? Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?"
Mage Hand? Explain.
I feel like that's cheating.
Yeah.
Mage Hand is a spell that I know. And Leon casts it. It's a cantrip. And if the door's unlocked, it can open it.
Okay, well then let's try this. The
Why
first
didn't
door
you
on
say
the,
something before?
the first door on the right.
Gris just kind of barreled over there.
I saw a door. I wanted to open it. I don't know what else you want from me.
I know, I understand. So Leon casts Mage Hand and tries to like have the Mage Hand, which can go about 30 feet. About 30 feet. It's exactly 30 feet. I'm looking at the spell. It can go 30 feet. So she casts the Mage Hand and sends the hand over to the door. The Mage Hand can manipulate an object, open an unlocked door container, stow or retrieve an item from an open container, or pour the contents out of a vial. So
It opens the door.
that
The door,
Which door?
the first door on the right swings open super easily, without much fanfare.
Can we?
Well, that was useful.
Can we see what's inside from the doorframe?
Are you all trying to gather to look into the doorframe?
Probably.
No, I'm not.
I'm definitely looking.
Yeah.
Hell no. Leon's standing far away still. She just cast Mage Hand.
I'm looking like this.
Ari and Leon, you're about 8 feet away. You can't actually really see through the door at the angle that you're at.
Yeah.
Galen and Gris. From what you can tell, this is a bedroom. There is a bed in one corner with kind of furs over it. It seems fairly luxurious. And it seems like it might be occupied. It looks like someone's sleeping in it. Next to it is a small table and a set of drawers. And there are tapestries on the wall in a language that you can't quite decipher from the distance that you're at. You would definitely have to grow closer.
Leon's like, hey, what's in there?
If you close your
Any
eyes...
Stone Kings to be found?
If you close your eyes and really listen, you can hear rattling breathing.
So Gris hears this.
Yeah.
Leon casts message. What are you seeing? Why are you shushing me?
What are you, Gris? Gris kind of
Gris,
responds.
yeah.
I think there's someone in there, and they're sleeping.
Leon casts message again. Don't go in there, Galen.
Galen goes in there.
And
Fucking
Gris
Christ.
like reaches out, trying to grab like the edge of Galen's shirt. Can we see if that if she's able to pull him back or stab him?
Let's get a strength check, Gris.
Wow, we're gonna kill this one.
Oh, jeez.
7.
Oh, no.
All right, so Galen...
Yeah, obviously, I would like to be in here as stealthily as possible. Not to wake the rattling thing.
Roll stealth check.
All right.
Seeing him go inside, I just put a hand on my hilt.
14.
Just
All right, so Galen, Gris reaches out to stop you, but you sort of brush her hand away. And Gris, you are forced to watch him. He starts to cross the room, and as he does so, torches on the walls flicker to life. And
Leon's walked up to Gris at this point.
okay, so you're watching this
The record,
transpire.
Yeah.
The figure in the bed sits straight up, and
Ooh,
you can
that's good.
see that it is what appears to be a skeleton with skin stretched tight across it. It takes a loud, rattling breath, and let's get a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, no.
from everyone or from just the people near the...
No, just Galen.
I think
gets
it's
dexterity.
just Galen.
11.
All right, so the floor underneath you crumbles, opening up into a giant hole. Galen,
Yep.
At the
Oh my god.
This is on brand.
with
Here's the
just
other.
one hand, you manage to grab the edge of the hole, but you are unable to pull yourself up. So you are hanging there with just your right hand.
Oh my god.
Having
So
having
how-
seen the floor crumble, I've run up to where the others are. Presumably, am I close enough to grab his hand?
No one is close enough right now to grab his hand. You would have to move to it.
Is the
Ari-
mage hand still active?
No, mage
How
hand
much of
can
the
do
floor
one
crumbled?
thing. It's about a 10 by 10 hole.
Okay.
Are we a bit closer from where we are
Yeah.
in the doorway?
So, the order of people who are there would be, it's just a doorway. You can't fit 3 full-grown people in there, or 2 full-grown people into
Right.
Gris. So Gris is sort of halfway into the room because she had tried to grab Galen. Leon is next to her. Ari, you are standing behind Gris, looking
Yeah.
over her at the scene.
So I think Gris would go to try and grab Galen's hand as best she could. So take a step.
Leon
forward.
stops Gris and says, let Ari.
Yeah. I just zoom.
Ari, let's get a strength saving throw, please.
Saving throw?
Yes.
Or okay. A moment. 13 plus 3, 16.
All right, you grab Galen's hand and you drag him up, so that he is now sort of lying on the floor, staring up at the three of you, presumably panting because he just almost died again.
Been a bit of a day.
Try not to make this a habit.
What's happening with the skeleton with the skin and the flesh and the bed?
Yeah.
It has lain back
No
down
skeletons.
and has gone back to its strange slumber.
And are the torches out now?
The torches are still on and flickering.
Can we explore anything in the room, or is most of the floor gone?
Let's get a perception check from Leon.
I was gonna say, can I roll Yeah.
and Ari.
Okay. 14 plus 4, 18.
Yo,
Plus 2,
I got that
5.
nat 20 plus 2, 22.
Let's go.
All right, so nat 20, let's just go with that. Gris, you, from what you can tell, this room may be a trap of some kind. Something designed for someone like Galen to go in and fall through. The most you can tell is
the
that
other door.
perhaps this is a room that is best left alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
Gris, say that to us.
yeah, as Gris kind of peeks in the room after Ari has saved Galen, says, "I think this was supposed to happen. Let's maybe try a different door."
Okay.
And what meant just standing up and
I was gonna say, Leon kind of ushers everyone back to the middle of the room and says, "I'm just gonna cast Mage Hand again. We're gonna just safely open this last door, shall we?"
Leon, there are actually 3 doors on each side of the wall, so that's gonna be 6 doors.
Oh, good.
And before you are
All right,
able,
third door on this side.
before you are able to cast Mage Hand, you feel a strange pull in your chest and find yourself reaching out with your own hand to the second door on the left. The door opens before you even touch it,
Okay.
opening to an empty room, almost perfectly circular, that reeks of death. However, you, against all better judgment, find yourself stepping into the room.
I just
Can I-
call after.
Can I, like,
yeah,
shoot an arrow at Leon's dress to like sort of pin her in place?
Do we know what's happening? Like, can we tell that Leon is just
Leon
kind
ain't
of
wearing a dress.
drawn to it? Like, is there... Do we see anything? Do we sense anything awry? Or just that Leon is doing this?
No. To you, it looks like Leon has just kind of lost it.
So I think we just would shout, Leon, what are you doing? And then I guess we would probably smell that sense of death as she opens the door.
Okay. So
I go after
I presume I just keep walking into the room.
Sure. I follow after and try and grab Leon's arm and pull her back.
All right, so you guys are sort
Weren't
of...
you going to use
Go for it.
Mage
sorry.
Hand?
Go ahead.
No, I just said, weren't you going to use Mage Hand?
Did Leon respond?
You can respond. However,
Is she
you
just
are-
so entranced?
You are very much entranced. Would you like to take a look around the room? All right.
Absolutely.
Does Gris sense any magic or anything pulling at...
Let's have
her
an
friends?
Arcana check.
Okay. 6.
Whatever is happening is something you are totally unfamiliar with. Leon, would you like to roll a perception check?
Yes.
Since I'm there with her, because I was trying to pull her back, should I roll one too?
No.
I don't know how far in she was.
That is 16 plus 2, 18.
Leon, you find yourself pulled to the precise center of the room. Ari's standing behind you, sort of watching you do all of this. Galen and Gris, are you guys in the doorway, or are you still in the hallway?
I'm in the doorway.
I think I'm a little bit further behind Galen at this point after seeing what happened in room 1.
Yeah.
Leon, on the walls, glowing, a faint silver blue is a language you have never seen before. Ari, this is nothing you are familiar with.
All right.
It is carved in large letters, super harsh, completely unfamiliar, and yet, Leon, despite having never seen this writing before in your life, you can read exactly what it says. What does it say?
Leon starts to read it out loud, and she says, "Child of darkness, here slumbers your fate. Dreams within a cavern only you can wake." What?
Did you say child of darkness or piled of darkness?
Child of darkness, here slumbers your fate. Dreams within a cavern only you can wake.
What does that even mean, Leon?
That's a good question, Ari.
And how can you read that?
That's a good question, Ari.
I think Gris at
Don't
this point
know.
is like hearing them kind of arguing and goes to like maybe enter the room and see what's going on in the room.
All right.
I just know what it says.
Well-
I can't tell you. I've never seen this language before, but I know I can tell you what it says. Can't tell you how. I
That's
just know what it says.
concerning. Are you all right, considering you were reckless as hell?
Yeah, why did you come in
I
here, Leon?
am fine. I just felt like pulled to come in here. I just felt pulled
Well, next
to come
time
in
you
here.
you
I
feel
don't.
pulled down here, maybe don't heed it.
Maybe use the buddy
just a
system
gesture.
next time.
I don't. Well, I mean, what does this mean?
I
Child
expect
of
it's-
darkness, here slumbers your fate. Dreams within a cavern only you can wake. What does that mean?
I expect it continues whatever we read above.
Okay.
So can Gris take a step towards the wall and try and figure out like why it's glowing? Like, is there a medicinal reason or like a magic reason?
Let's have you roll a wisdom check. Galen. Can you roll a wisdom check with advantage, please?
6.
Ooh.
Yes. Advantage means I just roll again, right?
Yeah, and you take the higher of the two scores. Gris, you are unfamiliar with whatever this is, but to you it feels bad. Potentially
19.
evil. Galen, 19. All right. Oh, yeah. All right. Galen, you are not necessarily 100% familiar with what this language is, but the associations you have with it are largely from criminal groups who err towards alliances with the supernatural, particularly demons, to get their influence in the underground.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is there anything else in this room that Leon can see?
That's it. The reek of death and the writing on the walls.
Is there anything like... And you said the writing was glowing?
Yes, and it is repeated over
Can
and
Leon
over
walk
and
over to
again.
touch it?
Yeah, you can.
Leon would like to walk
Just
over and
follow and go, are you
touch it.
sure you want to do that?
Yes. I don't know what else to do.
I
Why-
wouldn't
why is it
recommend
glowing?
doing that.
I just don't think we should really stay in this room for much longer. We do have some other doors to attend to, and based on last
Okay.
door being a trap, maybe we should go, especially since you can read this
Leon,
one and it's glowing.
Despite the protests of your friends, you are once again drawn towards the letters. You touch it, and in your head, as if someone else is sending you a message, you hear a voice you have never heard before, and it whispers, "Golden blood for golden causes."
Leon, what are you doing? Why are we touching the strange glowing words on the wall?
Okay.
Are you okay?
I feel like I should tell you guys something that's been happening. It's weird. And I'm just a little freaked out. I just heard a voice when I touched that. It said golden blood for golden causes.
You heard a voice?
You know when I send you a message, it was like that. I couldn't
Like
respond.
in your head.
Well,
you heard
Yeah, yes.
That's concerning.
and it said
Yeah.
golden blood for golden causes?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That,
Uh,
See, I thought this place was like abandoned, but considering you were just almost killed less than 48 hours ago through this, I propose we find an exit.
Yeah, I don't think we should linger here, especially based on the fact that there's also a mention of golden blood, by the way, in the song. So maybe we should not be here right now in this moment.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay.
to another door.
I'm just a little stressed that this is following me. My
You've
stress
heard
levels are a little
heard
high.
it other times? Like, what has it said previous?
Oh no, I mean someone tried to murder me, and then there was the knife and then the golden blood for golden causes, and then Galen said it back instead of untying me, and now I've just heard it in my head, and this is not something I've ever heard before, so I'm just a little stressed.
Is golden
Got
blood
a
not
voice in my head.
Is it not a phrase for royals? Is this not something you've
Don't
heard
know.
before?
I've never heard someone refer to noble blood as golden blood.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
I can't help you there, but I think you have every right to be stressed about it.
Right, thank you. I agree, Ari.
Maybe we should be
Agreed.
stressed about it in the
We
hallway.
should try. We should, yes.
We
Yeah,
can be stressed
let's
about
do
it
that.
in the hallway.
We can talk in the hallway because I don't want the floor to fall out again.
Yeah, please avoid that. I'm not saving you again.
All right, you return to the hallway. There are 3 doors you have not tried.
Should we try the second door on the right? Make our way down the hall?
Leon wants to cast Mage Hand to try and open it.
All right. This door
I'm
is
just nervous about the
locked.
doors, okay? Okay, Mage can't open that.
Yes.
And Leon, try one of the other doors.
Go for it.
Can I
With Mage Hand.
The next
It's
door that you
cantrip.
try is jammed shut, again as if there's something on the other side barricading it.
I'm still curious about that one. I think I could probably push it if we wanted to.
The first one? The first one on the left? That was barricaded? Or a different one?
Why don't we try to unlock the locked door instead of forcing our way into doors? Galen?
All right. Galen kind of begrudgingly, but also very hesitantly, sort of like crouches down and walks over to the door and pulls out his thieves' tools.
All right, Galen.
They're certain
Through
actually
the
locked this
keyhole,
time.
you can see the glinting of gold.
Okay.
Let's go slide a hand check.
God damn.
Oh no.
6.
That's okay. You needed a nat 20 to get it open anyways. Your thief tools, one of them sort of bends in an uncharacteristic way, and the door rattles at you as if it doesn't want you to open it.
Okay. Yeah. So one of my tools pretty much is useless now, and the door rattled at me, and there's gold behind it. So
There's gold
Okay.
behind it.
Where?
Leon wants to try the last door by casting Mage Hand one last time to try and open the last door.
All right, the last door opens slowly. You can sort of sense that it's maybe heavier than the rest, but it does open.
Okay.
Do you see anything?
Someone want to do some recon? We just walk up to the door frame.
Yeah.
This door opens into another hallway.
We're in a fucking maze.
Good.
This is delightful.
Can Grizz roll to see if she senses any magic?
Go for it.
Or anything?
Leon would also like to do that.
Okay, does anyone want to roll a perception check instead of...
Yeah, let's do that.
I would like to do a perception check, actually. Yeah. Perception's a better idea.
You're right.
19 plus 2, 21.
I got
Alright.
20.
This is a hallway. It is long, and at the end of it, opposite from you, is another door. And that's the only door in this hallway.
All right, sick. Let's go to that door.
Because we have
Wait,
such
how far
great
is the hallway?
luck.
How long is the hallway? How long is the hallway?
About 20 feet.
Alright, cool. Leon casts Mage Hand again. Tries to open the door at the end of the hallway.
In order to cast Mage Hand, you step forward, and the party follows you. The door you just walked through slams closed.
Sick.
And when you try to open it, it feels as
Fucking
if there is something heavy blocking it.
Awesome sauce.
Your Mage Hand does open the door at the end of the hallway,
Okay.
but you cannot see what is on the other side of that door from the distance you're at.
Can I use my perception check to see if there's any like traps or like or like booby trap wires or
Go for
foot
it.
traps or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 21 on my perception. Would I have noticed that?
Yeah, this is a hallway.
19 plus 3, 22.
And there's spider webs.
Oh.
Small,
Lovely.
regular cobwebs. It's sort of
Lovely.
dusty and gross in here. And
Leon tentatively starts to walk forward. Oh no, and what?
the air in this hallway is dusty
Okay.
and stale and thick. The rattling breathing that you heard in the first room has now become more audible. So you don't have to really listen to hear it.
Galen pulls up his cowl.
Leon just kind of looks at him.
It's gross in here.
Didn't wash your clothing yesterday.
There's literally a flesh bone sack that's breathing over there. I think that's the
All right, then. I mean, it's not like we have much choice, and it's not like we have great luck at the end of long hallways. So I just start walking.
So is Ari.
And
Leon follows Ari.
Gris also follows, having no idea what the fuck else to do.
And
Galen
on hill,
lets
just like,
a
there
deep
better
sigh.
be an exit.
All right, so you walk through this next doorway, and again, the door slams shut behind you.
Go figure.
Yes, we get it. It's for fact. She said no one.
Rude. This door leads
At the Wood Elf God.
to what? Yeah, Sylvanas says, "Fuck you." This door leads to a staircase, which spirals downwards. From what you can tell, it's stone, and it seems to be cut from the stone of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Do you head down this staircase?
Our only option is
Does
to
our
go
perception
down.
check from before carry over, or should we roll perception again? I'd like to roll another perception check if I have to, unless it
Yes.
carries over.
Let's roll another perception check.
Awesome.
Actually,
Yeah.
let's not have you roll a perception check until you begin down the stairs.
Okay. I mean,
Oh, good, okay.
seeing no other options, I just continue.
Leon's like, good. Further down. Awesome. That's great. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Love
Didn't
that.
we come from
Um,
above? Shouldn't we be going back up? I don't like that we're
Well,
going
consider
down.
Chris,
Galen,
You
behind
would
us.
think.
Galen just
I don't
instinctively
think we're
draws
being
his
led
dagger.
outside.
Smart.
So
Okay.
you carefully head down the stairs, as this staircase is incredibly steep.
Yikes.
Okay.
It seems to go downwards for what feels like hours, which would be a great opportunity for conversation if it weren't for this intense, raspy breathing, which at this point is so loud and so powerful that with every inhale, the oxygen seems to be sucked out of the room, and with every exhale, it returns. You're all sort of
There's, like,
relying on each other for balance. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
there's no railings or anything.
Okay. I presume we just keep going down. How long does it take us to get down there?
I mean, is there any light? Do we perceive any end to this stairwell? Is there any change in the breathing patterns?
It just continues to to spiral downwards. However, which one of you has the lowest modifier for your dexterity?
Oh, not me.
Mine's +2.
Mine's also +2.
Mine is 0.
Leon, let's get a dexterity saving throw, please.
If you trip because you're wearing pumps, I'm gonna be so upset.
They're thigh highs. It's an 8.
Okay. All right. Leon, you go to take a step and you miss one of the stairs, which sends you tumbling down this staircase.
Oh, goodness.
You sort of slide very ungracefully and unbecomingly for a noble, really, down the stairs, and your party can hear you kind of clatter to the end of the staircase.
Well, at least we know it ends.
Good, guys.
Leon, are you alright?
Yeah, I am dusty.
Are you broken?
I'm good.
Are you bruised?
Oh,
are you battered?
I am just a little dusty, folks. Leon kind of like stands up and starts to like brush her clothing off and like look up, hoping.
The rest of the party comes down the stairs one at a time. First Galen, then Ari, then Gris. Galen arrives, looks at you, and says,
Do you want help?
Fine, but thank you for the offer.
Ari arrives behind Galen, and
yeah.
You just arrived.
I thought you were continuing your sentence. I arrive and I just like look at Leon and just go like, are you hurt?
It's a little dusty.
Okay.
I'm good. It's good. We're good.
I'm glad.
Leon's like just trying to be like, it's fine, but she like hates that she just fell down a flight of stairs. She hates it.
Chris like reaches out to her shoulder and like pulls off like a spider web, just like without saying anything.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Dear God.
And then I think they would probably want to take a look around and see what they can see.
Can I roll a perception check?
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ, my fucking rolls suck tonight. 5 + 2, 7.
Everyone else can get perception checks?
Yeah, I have 14 + 4, 18.
How did I get the exact same roll as
17 +
Leo?
3.
5 + 2, 7.
All right, so Galen, as everyone else frets over Leon, you, believing her when she says she's fine, sort of take a look around the room, stretching because you just walked down a lot of stairs. You are in what appears to be a large, cavernous, almost atrium. The ceiling is so tall that you cannot see the top of it, and you can't see the back of the room from where you are. Here, again, the breathing is so loud that your companions are having to shout to each other to hear each other. With every inhale this time, the room shakes as the oxygen is removed, and then shakes again as the exhale happens. In the center of this cavernous room, you can see what appears to be the statue of a man. It's lying down, hands crossed over its chest. It seems rather small for the loud, echoing breaths, but the longer you observe it, the more clear it becomes that this is the source of the noise.
Okay. Seems like a dark.
Can I tell what kind of statue it is? Like, is it of a human, a dwarf, a halfling?
It's of what appears to be a human.
Okay.
Or maybe an elf. It's hard to tell from the distance.
Leon casts message to Galen. Is like, I'm not yelling. What do you see? What are you seeing? What's going on? What do you think we should do? What are your thoughts? Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? She's just kind of rambling.
I turn around and I just shout at the top of my lungs, "It's a statue!"
She messages Galen again. You could have responded, Galen. A message.
Literally can't.
Hearing him just scream back, not hearing the message, obviously, just starts to walk towards where the sound of Galen's dulcet tones are coming from.
All right, so you are walking towards Galen. Galen, are you going to stay where you are, or are you moving further into the room?
I think we should
I'm
all
moving
probably
further
move
into
into
the
the
room.
room.
So
even if we don't like it, we probably should move into the room.
Everyone is walking in together, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's separate the party.
As you inch closer towards this statue, the room is illuminated by the blue silver glow of writing, which covers the walls from the top, which appears to be about 100 feet up, all the way to the bottom, so that you are surrounded by this pale blue glow. Only one of you can read it, and we will discover what it says next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. MST, 8 p.m. EST. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 5, The Stone King's Slumber.
Oh my god.
What do you mean?
Benny! I did not expect
We just
that.
started.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
we just did this.
No, we just started like 10 minutes ago.
We
What do
we
you
just
mean?
started playing 10 minutes ago.
Twist. It's been 2 hours.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you all so much for watching tonight's episode.
Yeah.
Also, thank you to everybody who gifted those subs at the beginning of the stream.
I think it was Ken's.
I think that was Doog.
It was
Yeah.
Doog and Ken's.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was Doog and Ken. So thank you so much for gifting those subs.
Hold on.
I believe that means we're only like
So we got
3
11
subs away from the final emote
We're
spot.
3 subs away from the final emote spot. It looks like Ryan's gonna call Ken's and yell at her.
Ryan is about to call Ken's. So we're only 3 subs away from the final emote spot, which will be the Gris emote, if I recall correctly. We are currently waiting on the Ari emote to be live.
And it do be
Everybody who participated in bingo,
Congrats,
y'all had
everyone.
fun.
Please DM a mod with a screenshot of your bingo card so that they can verify it and get you the super fun bingo champion role. You do get to ask us, the cast and crew, questions in the bingo chat, which is pretty fun. You get to learn more about the world, the characters. A couple other things. Tomorrow we will be airing this episode again so that we can kind of watch it. We'll be hanging out in the chat, so if you want to hear our thoughts or the things that annoy
Director's
us,
commentary.
yeah, during this episode, you can see us tomorrow afternoon. Also, if you want to hang out with the TTT group, we do play a lot of Dead by Daylight together over the course of the week, so be sure to check out any of our Twitch channels to hang out with us. Other than
Appreciate
that,
you all.
yeah, we love you all very much. We will be back next week for some drama and some secrets being revealed. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love you a lot, and we'll see you next week.
We love you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.